Welcome back to Rails Minute, where you can find out more about what is happening with the library system. I'm Dan Bostrom, Rails Director of Marketing and Communications, and I'm here with Rails Executive Director, Monica Harris. Hello, Monica.
Hi, Dan.
So, Monica, the Rails board election has come to an end, but we're really excited to announce the new members next month. How did the election go this year?
Well, first, we wanted to really thank so much of the Rails membership for turning out. We had about 27% of Rails membership voted. That's actually a record turnout for us. So we were really thrilled to see so many people engaged in the process. And especially school libraries. We doubled our participation from school libraries this year. So really pleased to see that. And I think it really makes a difference when people are invested in these elections. But we did want to announce our newly elected board members. So first, in our at-large seats, we've got Yolande Wilburn from the Evanston Public Library and Megan Gove from the Talcott Free Library. Then in our public library trustees seats, we have Roberta Parks from the Peoria Public Library, Ron Holohan from the Dunlap Public Library District, and Carolyn Sennett from the Wilmette Public Library returning. And then finally, in our special seat, we have Catherine Yanikoski of Engineering Systems Incorporated, who will be returning as well. So our new board members will be seated in July. And I did just want to especially thank all of those who went out for those seats and to thank those who are elected for their service. This is a really big commitment, and the Rails board is such an important part of the leadership of Rails. So really thrilled at the process and excited to get to know our new board members.
Yeah, that's the fun part, really getting to know these new folks. But as you said, thank you to everyone that ran. It is a big commitment, 3 years in most cases. But it really helps us, it determines the future of Rails.
It sure does.
And where we're going as a library system. So yeah, thank you to those people. I'm excited to meet the new folks and get started with all of that. So in our election, especially in the nomination portion, a lot of the people that decided that they were going to run mentioned the IMLS funding cuts were a big motivator for them.
Yeah.
So, we've been keeping a close eye on the situation. We've talked about it a lot, you and me, in this particular forum. Are there any new updates that you'd like to share with us?
We do have some new updates this month, so we just wanted to share some of the things that have happened federally since last month. Some of these things are related to IMLS, and some of them are a bit more general, but still federal issues that library folks should be aware of. So the first one is that on May 16th, the Illinois Office of Broadband announced that the U.S. Department of Commerce terminated funding for digital equity capacity grants. And then on May 19th, Governor Pritzker did also release a statement concerning the cancellation of the program. ALA's put out an FAQ, so if you want to know more about how these cuts might affect libraries, it's really important to take a look. On May 20th, the Trump administration filed a status report confirming that the IMLS staff have returned to work in compliance with an order from a federal judge. The administration has filed an appeal of that order and requested a stay of the order pending appeal, so we're paying a lot of attention to that as well. Then on May 23rd, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit removed a 30-year precedent and ruled that politicians have the right to remove books from public libraries. That case was Little versus Llano County, and it's a book banning case that was first filed in April 2022. That case alleged that Llano County improperly removed 17 books from the library. This case is likely to be heard ultimately by the Supreme Court, so we'll be paying a lot of attention to that as well. Finally, on June 6th, after a month-long temporary restraining order, a federal judge denied the American Library Association's motion for a preliminary injunction that blocked the Trump administration's efforts to dismantle IMLS. That judge ruled that because the law and the facts are sort of currently in flux around this, that ALA's motion was denied without prejudice. What that means is that the IMLS grantees in states that are not covered by the Attorney General's suit, and as many of you remember, Illinois is one of the 21 states that was covered by that suit, they will not have access to their IMLS funding until the case progresses. And on June 17th, there were further developments to that suit as the federal judge set a schedule. That means oral arguments will not happen until October of this year at the latest. And then on June 16th, the GAO, which is the Government Accountability Office, determined that President Trump violated a 1974 Impoundment Control Act by withholding funds that had been approved by Congress. So we're watching looking and seeing if that has any sort of relevance to the ALA case as well. So those are some of the updates that we've seen at the federal level, but we did want to make sure that you know that here at Rails, we do have a new IMLS story series that our intern Gwen has worked on. It's a really fantastic way of looking how IMLS funds have really impacted Rails membership libraries. So you can really see what that money has done in action for local communities. The first one is from the Downers Grove Public Library, and they talk about the impact of their IMLS American Rescue Grant funds, which was part of a digital inclusion project that they did. So I would encourage everybody to take a look at these as they come out. It really shows in practice exactly what this money can do for a library.
Yeah, first of all, very excited for those people to see those stories. I think they're going to be really impactful. It sort of personalizes it, right? Right. When sometimes we talk about the legalese, we talked about all the court cases, injunctions. I'm not even sure what that means, but there's a lot happening, and it's tough to internalize it as well, where are we in the in the continuum of success versus failure on this, and probably we're somewhere place in the middle, but that this grant funding really means something to some libraries. It really means something to all of us, but especially some of these libraries that have received funding in the past, that have something to show for it, that are contributing their story to the greater narrative that's going on. So yeah, it's fun to see. I mean, again, are we winning? Are we losing? Who knows, right? But we're continuing to tell people about it. We're continuing to keep you all informed about it, and make sure that these stories get told.
And I want to thank everybody for their continued engagement on this topic. I've had so many conversations with members who are still wanting to know what's happening and wanting to make sure that they are making their voices heard, and we really want to thank folks for that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, one of the first things you mentioned was digital equity, and there's a huge new opportunity for libraries, public libraries in Cook County, to work towards digital equity and those goals. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Well, so this is a bit of good news that we're really excited to share. So recently, Rails was delighted to receive an $850,000 grant from the Cook County Board of Commissioners to create a digital navigator network program for suburban Cook County libraries. So these grant funds are coming directly from Cook County, which is why only Cook County libraries are eligible. But what it will allow for is the opportunity to create a digital navigator program for those libraries that then is hopefully replicable. If we can find additional funds and have the potential to expand the program eventually, that would be fantastic. But in the meantime, we are so grateful to Cook County for their vision and for their willingness to understand that libraries are really a vital partner in digital equity. And we really want to thank our own Director of Technology, Ann Slaughter, for her work on this project. She really did a lot to make sure that this was possible on the Rails side. So really excited about what this is going to mean.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a lot of suburban Cook County libraries in Rails, and it's going to be very meaningful for them. Also, just exciting to explore this new partnership with an agency who we haven't worked with before, right? And create something new. So, okay, so for projects like the Digital Navigator Network program, data is essential. It helps us see the bigger picture and understand what's going on and what resources might be lacking throughout the state. So we recently highlighted our very own data team here at Rails in our Numbers That Count campaign. Can you tell us a little bit about the work that they do?
Yeah, so our data team is such an integral part of telling the story of libraries because data is really a wonderful avenue for advocacy and telling the stories of what libraries do. So one thing we wanted to share is that in 2024, we launched the School Library Advocacy Through Education program, which you may have heard us talk about as the SLATE project. SLATE is a data dashboard which provides a lot of information about Illinois school libraries. It has information about staffing, about budgets, collection details, and it's been viewed over 6,000 times since its debut in 2024. You can really look at this data and drill down to a school by school level, and it really allows for advocacy on a local level. Even as parents want to advocate for school library support in their own schools, they're able to do that by using this tool. And so it's a really fantastic thing to look at, and I would encourage anybody who's interested in the story of school libraries in Illinois to take a look. We also wanted to share about Illinois Libraries Agencies of Impact, which was a data study that was completed about a year or so ago. That study examines kind of a quantifiable impact of Illinois libraries. And so it's meant to really share the value that libraries bring to their individual communities and talk a little bit more about what that means economically. So for those people who maybe have to make a presentation to their local Rotary or Chamber of Commerce and really want to tie back what libraries mean importantly in the state of Illinois, it's a real opportunity to take a look at some of those things and bring yourself kind of armed with those facts about libraries to folks that are going to understand that kind of quantifiable data. We have given out about 2,800 physical copies of the Agencies of Impact, but it has a lot of really amazing infographics that are also just really powerful on their own and can work on social media. So just another opportunity to tell the important stories of what Illinois libraries do.
Yeah, the Libraries Agencies of Impact report, particularly during these times of questionable federal funding, that document has been super helpful for us in the last 2 months. We've used that document in whole new ways, in entirely new ways, right? Data has become a big part of how we tell our story, right? How we connect with people, absolutely. So before we close, I just want to say a couple things. Happy summer reading to all of you folks out there.
That's right.
We are in the thick of it right now, very much in the thick of summer reading. For the school libraries out there, we hope that you are enjoying, maybe you get a break, maybe you don't get a break, but we hope you have a little bit of chance to just get it refreshed and renewed to start the new school year. As always, if you have questions or topic ideas, you can contact the Rails Communications team at communications@railslibraries.org. A reminder that Rails Minute is available as a podcast. Subscribe wherever you listen. Monica, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Dan.
And thank you for watching.